Hello, this is Gobbo only, and he can only do things if there is a Gobbo in the chunk. I'll explain this further, but I hope you enjoy. Now, an account like this has a special set of rules. I want to discuss those rules because they're different from every other chunk man. For an account like this, goblins are not the lock, they're not the restriction, they are the key. If you see any goblins around Gillinor, I want you to go to the comments, and tell me where you've seen them. Obviously, you don't have to tell me about Lumbridge, but I'm talking about niche places where a goblin or hobgoblin or some variant of goblin exists. Because if there is a goblin on a chunk, Gobbo can access it and reap the rewards of any activity in the chunk, including skilling, including combat, bosses, best in slots, everything. Gobbo is also different from every other chunk man because he's not restricted to going to other chunks. He's only restricted from gaining EXP in other chunks where there is not a goblin in it. The exception to this is during clue scrolls or quests. Gobbo is allowed to do any clue scroll as long as it originated from a chunk with a goblin in it, no matter how he got it. Gobbo can also do any quest as long as it originated in his chunks. Clues are going to be some of the best ways for Gobbo to get upgrades, and they're just fun to do, so I didn't want to restrict it. This account is less about restrictions and more about exploration. I want to see how far Gobbo can get with the restriction of only being allowed to gain EXP in chunks where a goblin exists. Slayer is a completely different beast. Gobbo will have to do Slayer with only Slayer masters that exist in chunks that he's at, and if he gets tasks that are not in chunks that he's at, he's only able to kill the monsters. He is not able to pick up the loot. I wanted to allow Slayer as it allows big upgrades in the future with God Wars Dungeon. Since for this account, the goblins are the key and not the restriction, I thought it would be nice to include that any chunk with a goblin in it has automatically every prerequisite for any quest or any access areas done. This will include access to Cam Dizel, completing Taibu Wanai Trio, access to a Poor Sign of Interest, and many more. As for my rules, Gobbo will also be able to go and pick up a saw for construction, buy a house for construction. However, he cannot collect planks from tiles where a goblin doesn't exist, above or below ground. Speaking about goblins below ground, I want to talk about dungeons for a quick minute. Now, dungeons are going to operate differently than a transportation area. For the sake of having a lot of content for this account to do and having fun grinds to go for with best in slot items, with collection logs, dungeons are going to act as map links. Now, for example, the Edgeville dungeon has 2 exits, potentially 3 if you have an agility level. All 3 of those chunks will be accessible for Goblin Chunk, as going into them would lead to a Hobgoblin. Now, where this strays off between dungeons and travel is that something like a fairy ring would not give Gobbo access to every other chunk with a fairy ring. Gobbo is able to go to Xanaris with a fairy ring. However, Gobbo cannot then gain access to a bunch of areas with fairy rings in it just because a fairy ring leads to a goblin. I'm leaving that specifically to dungeons. If a dungeon has a goblin in it, the entrances and exits of the dungeon will link. Travel will not work like that. Port Sarim boat does not give me access to Catherby just because I can take the boat to Port Sarim and gain access to a goblin. I wanted it to be like this because I wanted there to be a great amount of content to do, long strides for us to go for, niche ways to train that would not normally be our preferred method of training, and just an overall fun and exciting encounter of an account for us. On your screen now is going to be a list of all the extra content that Gobbo will have access to, basically because there is a goblin in the chunk somewhere, even though the content that we're accessing has nothing to do with a goblin. As you can see on the clue scroll on the screen, you can see all of the exceptions that we've made, well, that I've made, up until this point, which is, the beginning of the count, this is everything that I could think of for the foreseeable future. If there has to be a big change, I will poll it. I will never just do something without asking you guys. As you guys have seen in Goblin Chunk, actually, that's a lie, because in Goblin Chunk, I did do that. My bad. I suck. As stated, Gobbo can cross any boundary of chunk. The restriction is not travel. The restriction is strictly EXP and content. Gobbo can't cut a tree in a chunk that's not his. Gobbo can't fletch a log in a chunk that's not his. Gobbo can't collect water in a chunk that's not his. Other things Gobbo can't do is he cannot buy best in slot items. Gobbo's not allowed to buy best in slot items, and Gobbo can only collect the items for a quest from chunks that he has, unless it is impossible for him to get them any other way. I really hope I did a good job of explaining the rules. I mean, there's a bunch of different little intricacies with this account, but for the most part, if it came from a chunk with a goblin or has a goblin, we can do everything in it. And I hope you enjoy what's to come. Once again, thanks for watching, and don't worry, Goblin Chunk is not done. Let's give it up for our first bit of runes. Obviously, these guys are all inside of the chunk, so I can do whatever I want with them. I can kiss him, I can touch his sword, I can take her runes, I can take her arrows, but for some reason I just forget to do that. I just never do that. But I can do whatever I want in this chunk. I can cut the tree, I can shit on the floor. Oh, that's TOS. Picked up my best in slot goblin beat stick, which is the iron dagger that spawns on the floor over here in the goblin hut. Now I'm not going to use this ultimate Iron Man armor all the time, but just for the first couple of levels I will, because this challenge is going to be pretty difficult as it is, and there's no reason to just make this slower than it has to be. I think I'm going to spend the first little bit of time killing goblins and stuff, because obviously we really don't have access to a whole bunch of collection logs, and all the other monsters that we end up having access to are very strong. So we'll train up a bit, and then we'll start trying to get into those beginner clue collection logs. Let's just cross our fingers for no Charlie the Tramp, because Charlie the Tramp is a pain in the butt. We just want some decent armor and decent weapons to start us off. Take a look at my fat stacked inventory. I got logged out for AFKing too hard, so world refresh, but we are still on our way to busting some goblin heads. Always making sure I got my stuff on deck. Got the iron dagger, got the bronze shield. Always making sure I pick up those runes. And I'm hitting twos now. Hitting twos with the iron dagger. Super awesome. We got our first random event, and of course it wasn't a good one. Haha, isn't it always not a good one? Speaking of random events, I think I'm going to start off doing either agility or hunter, because both of those skills are really hard to train. But they are thinking about changing the Draenor rooftop course. There we go, rooftop course. They're thinking of changing that to level 1 agility, which means that I might not actually lamp it. I think my first lamp I'm gonna use on agility, but I don't know, I might wait for that. So I'm gonna focus more on like Slayer or something else. I don't know, something else. Maybe hunter. I'll do hunter. Yeah, got my bucket of milk, got my egg. Now I'm getting my flour for cook's assistant. We need to do cook's assistants for RFD, as we're allowing RFD, obviously, because in our chunks, it literally doesn't matter what is in our chunks. If there was a hot air balloon to Lumbridge, then I would allow it. Like, honestly, as long as there's a goblin somewhere on the chunk, or a dungeon entrance leads to a goblin, even if it's like dungeon entrance, dungeon, no goblin, then dungeon entrance on the other side with a goblin chunk, like for example Draenor, I got access. That's my chunk now. That's how we're stretching this, because I kind of want to do as much as I can, but I also want it to be difficult. That's why we're not allowing me to buy best in slot items and whatnot. And yeah, and of course best in slot is relative to whatever level I am. So obviously right now I can't buy an air staff, even though I never could. But if I could buy an air staff, I couldn't do it because I have no staff. So I have to get my hands on whatever shitty staff I can get beforehand. Which, now that I think about it, is the goblin staff. But I just don't go to Django for some reason. I just completely forget about Django for like the entire, actually still to today. As post editing, I haven't gone to Django. I think I went to get a Chronicle one time, still didn't buy the goblin staff or the goblin bow. And those are both items that I could be using to train magic, which I just have not been doing, and chain range, which I just also have not been doing. I've been trying to make bronze knives. What's wrong with me? Your boy Gabo has cleared his inventory to make it look less like poop. I went and got my restock of runes, and now we are starting X marks the spot. Now, funny thing about Korand, when I was thinking about Korand or Zaya, whatever the place is called, I think it's called Zaya. When I was thinking about Zaya, I was like, bro, there ain't no goblins there. But there actually is. There's a ton of goblins in Zaya. There's goblins by the sand crabs, which means we have sand crabs. There's hobgoblins by the fishing spot, and that fishing spot goes all the way to sharks. So that means later in the future, we got access to sharks, baby. Woot. I can't believe I just said woot. That's gross. And this beginner clue is going to have originated from a chunk with a goblin in it, so I will be able to do it, and that's going to be awesome. Hopefully, cross our fingers, we get a fat steel longsword, something like massive, big old upgrade, steel tank. I want to be a steel tank with a dragon scimitar. Like, that's how I want to look. I want to look like Relica locked. I want to have the full steel with a freaking rune something. Oh my god, it's gonna be so hard to get rune. Can we even get a rune weapon? I am gonna consider this reward as originating from Goblin Village because this quest started in Goblin Village. So fat reward lamp, fat clue scroll, which we're gonna go do right now, and I can use this reward lamp because it originated in Goblin Village. Whatever. Okay, baby, we've got the casket and we love to see it. I'm gonna move somewhere nice and pretty for us to open this, and the suspense is killing you. You want me to open it? You're like, Gabo, just open it. Well, my name's not Gabo. It's not Goblin Chunk either. It's Mimty. Mimty, open it. We don't care, bro. We don't care. Just open it up. Also, why haven't you spent the lamp yet? Well, I forgot about the lamp because I was too focused on the stupid casket. And bada bing, take my 10 gold. Hooray. And let's open this fatty reward. Let's see what we got. Why have I still not opened it yet? I don't know, but here we go. Bada bing. Oh shit, yo, it hit me with the hand member special. I've got no idea why this clip is 50 minutes, but I completed Sheep Shearer, and for some reason this clip is 50 minutes. This is a ×8 speed of me being AFK playing Valorant instead of working on my gains on both this account and Goblin Chunk. I can't believe myself. I'm so ashamed. Look at this. I'm literally not participating in the game, and I still have that fucking lamp. Why do I still have that lamp? 5 defense, massive gains. You can see it in the chat because I missed the level coming up, because that's how streamers work. Streamers, I'm not a streamer, but you know what I mean. Content creator and 8 prayer. Alright, with stats like these, I think I'm ready to go and do our next quest. We have access to any quest that begins in our chunk, which means we can leave our chunk to do it. It just has to have the quest marker start in our chunk. And one of these good quests is Restless Ghost. Now, Restless Ghost may not be that big of a deal to you guys, but bonus prey XP is always a good thing. And it gives me an excuse to, pad out the old quest log, have these completions a little bit better, well, a little bit bigger, that is. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. We have to talk to Father what's his face in the swamp, so that'll do us some good. And I don't know if I have to come back and talk to the ghost or if I could just go straight to the tower. I wanted to get these stats because we have an encounter with a monster during this quest. I believe it's like a level 7 skeleton, and I didn't want to accidentally die during it, and I just wanted an excuse to train a little bit because I wanted to make sure that we were able to, sorry, let me just grab this real quick, make sure that we were able to try to get a clue scroll. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do beginner clue. Father, what's your name, blah blah blah. He's got a haunting, blah blah blah. Perfect, love it. All right, Ghost Speak amulet. That's our first amulet that we can wear, and I'll be happy with it. And it came from a chunk where it started with a goblin. So what you gonna say? It came from Goblin Origins. We'll say that's what we'll call it, Goblin Origins. So this came from Goblin Origins, and now we have to go back to Lumbridge and talk to the guy. I'm also kind of worried about these lamps, so I think I might just use them now. I wasn't going to at first, but I think I will. I'll pop it in magic. And that helps. 300 EXP in magic, and then that gives us level 4, and then we'll pop this one in magic as well. And give us nothing. Still level 4, but you know, it's going to take us a long time because I don't think we have access to a rune shop at all on this account. So that means that all of our runes have to come from drops, and that's a doozy. That's not easy. So, you know, we definitely want to stack these things up, and we're going to have to be very sparing with our EXP. This guy looks nice. I don't know why this happens every time I give somebody head, but homie left. He's about to leave. Look, release stranger. See, he got release after the head and dipped. That's crazy. Anyway, quest complete. 1.25k, whatever. You know what I mean. 13. Here we are in the Remington mine chunk, and the first thing I notice is that there is a wheat field here, and there's tons of goblins, which obviously I knew that. This is why I'm able to be here. But there's a wheat field here, and the wheat field is important. Oh, also a bronze arrow spawn. Very cool. The wheat field's important because once we are members, which I'll be getting members soon, don't worry. Willow trees as well. Very cool. And an oak tree. We got everything we need in this chunk. Once we are... Oh, wait. This raises a question. Should I be able to do this? Because don't I need like a tomato or something? Yes, let's go. Boom. What do we need for this? We need... an onion, an eye of newt, and burnt meat. Alright, so I can get what? An onion, an eye of newt, and burnt meat. What happened to the rat tail? And rat tail, okay. So let's get the rat tail first. The eye of newt is going to be something different. I don't know how I'm supposed to get that. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit this guy. I don't know how I'm supposed to get an eye of newt because there is no way to get an eye of newt in my chunks. However, I think we'll just go and grab it because this quest starts in our chunk, so we should be able to do it. I'll look for a way to get an eye of newt that's not leaving our chunk, but you know, if I can, I can't. Here's an onion, and let's check for the eye of newt. Where can I get an eye of newt? And so the first major grind of the account ensued. I had no idea where to get this eye of newt. I knew that there was one in the shop, but I didn't consider the goblins that are around Port Sarim to be goblins that spawn in that chunk. So I went looking, and I looked at the monsters we had access to, and 2 names popped up. We have a zombie in the sewers of Draenor, which is only the armed one drops the eye of newt at a rate of 1 in 128, which is gross. And then we have a Captain Timo. Captain Timo drops it at a rate in 1 in 14. Much better, but he's also stacked and casts magic, so I didn't want to fight Captain Timo. Therefore, we are in for a grind. We have to kill a bunch of zombies that are a higher combat level than us for a 1 in 128 chance of an eye of newt, which I was not even sure was possible because who kills these zombies? And there we go. We have our first clue from a goblin. Well, I mean, we can do them if we get them in the chunk, so it doesn't always have to come to our goblin. So like if a man dropped it, then I could have done it too, as long as the man was from our chunk. You know the deal. But we have to speak to Reldo. Oh wait, but it's telling me where to go already. Does it know where it is already? What the hell? Oh no, that's the quest. That's the quest helper. Where is this telling me to go? Okay, so it's telling me to go get the strange device from Reldo, who is in Varrock. So we are about to make our first trip to Varrock. What is the quickest way? I can just go north, right? And I don't know if I can go through that. We'll try. Yeah, so we're going to go to Varrock, and we are going to get the strange device, which also means that we're going to have to go get a spade, I believe. So we're going to have to head back all the way to Lumbridge to get a spade, which sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully the strange device is somewhere, you know, not ridiculous. It might even be somewhere we're familiar with already. Let's check and see if there's a goblin over there. I'd love to have access to Draenor Manor. I do get to go in Draenor Manor though, to go and complete this quest. Yeah, Vampire Slayer, which we might do today. But yeah, we have to go to Varrock, get this stuff done. I'm really hoping that we get a good blessing from this absolutely fantastic beginner clue. I hope it's not something that we can't do. That would make me so heartbroken. Oh man. Oh man, this is a long walk. I'll just show you guys when I get there. How coincidental is it that we end up with a beginner clue Reldo step that is the only one that Goblin Chunk would have been able. Wait, actually, I don't think this is in Goblin Chunk's chunk. Oh, it is. That's in Goblin Chunk's chunk. Yep. This is the only one that Goblin Chunk would have been able to do. Now, what's the next one? In the village of barbarians, I'm the one who guards. What? Where am I going? Okay, so I gotta speak to that guy in the barbarian village, which is awesome because that it's right here. Actually, I'll keep the strange device on me because probably gonna try to do another one after this. Beginner clues, the loot from them is like very mid, so it's not likely that what we get from this is gonna be enough for us to start taking on the zombies. But even if it isn't, it's still an upgrade nonetheless. I'm hoping it's an upgrade. There's a chance that we just get like 15 body runes. I don't want to jinx it, but there's a good chance that we get 15 body runes, and that would break my heart. We just missed combat level 100 in the chat, and we are about to be on 20 strength. There it is, 20 strength. That's a big number right there. And 18 combat. Love to see it. We're switching back to attack. Get to 20. That's the goal for now. But unfortunately, does not look like we've gotten any beginner clue, which is very unfortunate. I was really hoping for another small upgrade, and I looked all around, but we actually do not have any access to a ranged weapon other than the one that we like, the training bow. That's the only one that we have access to, and that does suck really badly. So we will have to find another way to get our range to level 5, which is when we can wield the oak, which is what he sells in the shop, which ironically, pretty much the only way that we would be able to do that is if we get a clue scroll from a goblin and we do it and we unlock that beautiful short bow, or I don't know if the rainbow is free to play, but if we can unlock some variant of a bow, that'll be the bee's knees. Then we could equip the hard leather body. If we do pull something that's better than the hard leather body, I have no reason to keep the hard leather body. If I can get a steel plate body or something, I have no reason to keep the hard leather body, so I won't even think twice about selling it. But for the time being, I think it's important that I just hold on to it because it might be my best defensive option, as I'm trying not to rely on the ultimate Iron Man armor too much, because that kind of is a very big buff early game, and you know, it kind of sets a pace that's a little bit unrealistic. If I didn't have it, it'd be much slower. I'd have to do a lot more training, so I'm trying not to have to utilize the ultimate Iron Man armor. I'm gonna have to see if there is a spawn of an armor somewhere. Maybe there's like a bronze chain body or something that we can put on, and in the same time we are still stacking up all of our lovely gold. We've reached 1.1k gold. Huge. Don't know what I'm going to spend it on. Probably nothing. Probably going to end up hoarding it if I really think about it, because this crafting shop, I can probably buy some stuff from this crafting shop. There are hobgoblins in this chunk, so we have access to this chunk. We have the makeover mage, but that's not really that important. We have access to the crafting guild, but that's going to take forever. So yeah, I have not seen anything yet where we can use money effectively, except for that range shop. That range shop's probably going to be the only place where we can use money, and that's fine for the time being. As we get members and our stuff grows, we will be able to access like Taibuwanai right here. There's hobgoblins here, so I can go there. What do we get? We got bones, and we are 11 attack. Love to see it. Taibuwanai has hobgoblins. If there's a spot where there's hobgoblins, we also can go there. So there's hobgoblins here, so we can go here. There's hobgoblins on Crandor, so this part of Crandor we have access to, which is really unfortunate, because even though that part of Crandor we have access to, I don't think it's the part of Crandor that has the hole. Right? Does it have the hole? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and check. Where is it? Where's Crandor? Right here. I believe that the hobgoblins are on this side of the island, if I'm not mistaken. If they're on this side of the island, that would be great, because then we get access to the dungeon, which means that we can go through here and we can enter. This is our fight area, and that would allow us to have so many future upgrades, work on a fire cape eventually. Those are all really sick things we'd be able to do. If that is the case, I'd have to go check, so I will go check eventually, probably after we get this clue. Nope. Okay, no clue. All right, I'm gonna be doing this and I'll be looking into that, because it'd be really cool if we'd be able to get a fire cape on this account. Okie dokie, so we are bonded up. Let's go ahead and redeem this for our 14 days of membership. Beautiful. We're gonna have to log out and log back in, switch to a members world whenever it gives us the chance. But now that gives us access to thieving, and thieving is gonna be pretty decent for 1, money, and then 2, it's gonna give us a lot of content to do. Now we're gonna have to go down here and get some ham robes later on, and that is pretty nice to see that we're gonna have access to all the goblin weaponry now. So we'll get like access to the Dorgenstern crossbow and stuff like that. Still don't have a way to fire it yet, but we will have access to all that. So let me go ahead and log out, and then we will be a member after. Beautiful. We are now members and we've got work to do. So we have 15 coming up, so that means that we have to swap our left click on this man to pickpocket, and we have to get to pickpocketing, which is gonna suck tremendously. And we might even be able to start RFD. We might have to go start RFD right now actually, and that is a task completed, and we are thieving away. All right, so our goal right now is to get 15 for the ham hideout. Once we get into the ham hideout, we just need to thieve until we get the leather body. Then we can give it to Charlie, and we can call this one wrapped up. Now this also opens areas for us to get the nice easy clue loot. Any easy clue loot will probably be a massive upgrade for us. So once we get those easy caskets, we will be able to do those, and that is 2 thieving. Unfortunately, our thieving methods are not really that great, but beggars can't be choosers. Currently looking for the leather body from these guys. I thought you needed a requirement to get in here, but you don't. Just finished my first easy casket. I don't know if I recorded, but I've been kind of like just mentally AFK, but the first step, where was that first step? The first step was, yes, it was in Corinne. So I had to go to the mess hall and check a box, and then the second step was the one that you just watched me do. And since we are on this side of town, we are gonna go ahead and go to the chunk that we can actually do content in, which is the one with the Witch-Haven dungeon. And this Witch-Haven dungeon gives us access to a bunch of creatures like the ogres and stuff like that, which are not super important unless they drop clues. I have to check if they do drop clues. It'd be nice to grab that iron mace, but unfortunately we don't have access to it. But the important thing about this Witch-Haven thing, 1, we get to do the sea slug, but 2, we also get access to this fishing shop right here, plus whatever else spawns here. For some reason I have a memory of there being a candle or something around here, and I don't know if I'm tripping or not. I will check to see if there's a candle anywhere around here. We got the altar. No, there's no candle thieving spot there. Okay, unfortunate. We don't want to come back here too frequently, so I'm going to go ahead and shop with Ezekiel, and we will buy our small fishing net, which is huge. Then we'll buy our fly fishing rod, which is also huge. We won't buy anything else. And again, the reason that we can come to this and use everything in this chunk is because in this dungeon, remember we said above and below ground, it doesn't matter as long as somewhere in the chunk gives you access to a goblin or goblin variant. I'm able to do whatever I want in that chunk, and let's go ahead and check, and boom, hobgoblins. Hobgoblins are awesome sauce. There's also a push wall here, and I don't know where that takes us, but I believe it's from a quest or something. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Now we are on this side of the map. So first off, let me stop the suspense. We'll open our easy casket. Wow, look at that, a black longsword. That is actually much better than our iron axe, and actually I should keep the axe because it's my best axe right now. But the bronze dagger and the black dagger is not better than the longsword. I mean, it probably is, but I'm gonna keep the longsword and we'll use that as my melee weapon for now. These fire lighters are not worth it at all. And from here we're gonna go and pick up that fruit blast plus a greenman's ale if they have it. I don't know where I can get a greenman's ale. And a rotten tomato, which I believe the rotten tomato I can get from a Grubber's Woods somewhere around here. We're also near a chunk that we can access right here. There's cave goblins over here. No, there's not cave goblins, regular goblins over here. So this chunk right here we can access. I don't know if it gives us anything. I know there's goblins here as well. It doesn't really give us anything, but it's fine. Just having more chunks is fun. And we're gonna move up and to the left so that we can go over to this chunk and start. We'll help Felly, by the way, but we're gonna go over to this chunk and pick up our Greenman's Ale, and that will be not the Greenman's Ale, the fruit blast. We'll pick up our fruit blast, or maybe we'll just buy the cocktail shaker. What do you think is a better one? I think maybe buying the cocktail shaker is better. No, we'll buy the fruit. We'll just buy the fruit blast. We'll buy the fruit blast. We might need it. We might need the cocktail shaker for another quest. Did I just? Oh, I'm so stupid. I went the wrong way. We might need the cocktail shaker for another quest, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't want to clog my inventory with too many things right now. It is looking immensely clogged. Like I'm getting anxiety with how clogged this inventory is. So yeah, and once we are done with the fruit blast, we've gotten the fruit blast, we got our stuff. I don't think that there's anything else that I really need to do on this side of the map. Let me just take a look again. I don't know where to get the rotten tomato. The rotten tomato I believe I can get right here. And yeah, we can get this right here. But I'll probably get the rotten tomato from Varrock if I can. It's just closer to where I am. But yeah, it's cool that we are on this side of the game. It's been a hot minute since we've been on this side of the game. Might spend my time killing goblins over here in the caves because one, I get to explore them, and then two, I can wait for my home teleport to respawn, and then I can go beat their ass, and that'll be nice. This is also the edge of my chunk, so if you see right here, we've got goblins that spawn right here. It says that they spawn right here, but they really spawn like here, but there's goblins in this cave nonetheless. And we've got goblins here as well, which means if we have goblins here as well, yeah, this is why we have access. So if we have goblins here, we can probably, all right, if I kill this goblin right here and he spawns over here by these moss giants, then that means that we have access to moss giants as well. Let's go ahead and kill this goblin real quick, see where he spawns. Wow, we hit 4s. That's the beauty of this account. Like we can discover like things like this. So let's see where this guy spawns, and then we'll move from there. So I probably should have tagged them. Just want to see if anybody spawns near these guys. Do they just wander this way or what? And how far into the chunk am I? I just saw the goblins in this chunk, and this guy just spawned. All right, I'm not sure about these moss giants, but I'm pretty sure actually that it's probably okay for me to kill those moss giants. This is unfortunately the best food we currently have access to. We will get our fishing up in the meantime, but we're going to use this shrimp to fight some zombies in the future. TLDR, shrimp was not good enough to fight the zombies, so I had to go and get a fishing rod so that I can get potentially heron, and I think they're tuna, not tuna, sardines, yeah. It's pretty unfortunate, but it doesn't look like I do enough DPS right now with my current black longsword and the little bit of armor that I have to keep fighting these guys. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to get all the way to trout with the rate that I kill these guys, or maybe I just have to train for a bit, but this is not working. It's just my DPS is too low. They hit way too often. I think they hit 3s or 4s and they hit way too often. I need way more defense than this. So this is how you see that the inability to buy best in slots, I mean excluding ammunition, I can still buy like bow and arrow stuff and runes, but I don't have a rune shop. I can still buy arrows, but best in slot weapons, best in slot armor, not being able to buy that stuff is really difficult for this account. Even though I don't think I have access to armor either, buying armor, that is, I don't know, but you get the gist. Like if I was able to buy the mithril battle axe, I'd probably be doing more DPS here or just hitting more accurately. But right now, I think I'm just gonna have to go clue hunting again to see if I can land a better weapon, or maybe a weapon that they're weak to. Maybe if I had like a black weapon that was like crush, maybe it would do better. I don't know. Decided to knock out 6 wood cutting because I got this steel axe from the ham members, and I want to be able to use it every time I get it, because you know it's pretty good and it saves me 200 GP every time. So wanted to knock it out so I could unlock it, wear it. Now I'm just gonna sell it because I can get one whenever I want just by thieving the ham members. And yeah, that's pretty much all this clip's about. Been thieving these ham members. They are our best source of easy clues right now. Plus we got a bunch of other little things like the swords that can have, I think, a sword up to adamant or mithril. Either way, those are both upgrades. And the polished beads are the polished ones are a little bit of crafting EXP. Not that it's super important, but you know it is. We do get kicked out a lot, but I'm hoping to get this quest done so that we can get access to the ham storage room, which will have our best money maker by far. Actually, I think I haven't looked at all of our chunks, but I'm pretty sure this is as good of a moneymaker as we get on this account, besides just straight up killing monsters and alking. So we definitely want to unlock the Lost City, the Lost Tribe quest as fast as possible. But the issue with that is we actually don't have a method currently to train agility, because there's no goblins next to agility training methods outside of Draenor. Now Draenor is going to be changed from 10 agility to 0 agility, but that's not going to be for a while. I don't even know if that passed. So in the meantime, I'm worried maybe I don't lamp hunter and I lamp agility. Maybe that'd be the better play, but I haven't really given it that much thought. For the meantime, I'm just trying to get easy clues so I can see if I could just get a better weapon, even though I'm pretty sure easy clues are capped at black weapons. If I could get like a bow, I should be able to, if I could get a bow, I should be able to just make like, get the bronze arrows from like men or something, and then, you know, train range like that, because there's going to be Slayer monsters that we're going to have to kill in the future. By the way, we do get Slayer. We only get access to Vanica, Cheldar, and the lady in Remington, I think it's called. No, the lady in Draenor. The lady in Draenor. We get access to her. Those are the only masters we can use. We can go and kill monsters, but if it's not in a chunk that we have, we can't pick up the loot. And that's pretty much how I'm going to do it, because, you know, whatever. I decided to see if I can knock out a couple of quests. So this is going to be I believe the end of Rune Mystery. So, oh no, the beginning of Rune Mystery. This is the beginning of Rune Mystery, but we do Rune Mystery. I don't have to show you the whole thing. So my current goal is to start working on Slayer as well as knocking out some quests, and that's going to have to require some better food. So I'm grabbing these feathers right here, Now, this black longsword is not going to do it for much longer. I'm going to have to get a mithril or adamant upgrade, maybe even a rune upgrade. So my current plan is to try to grind out some clues till we hit a staff, and once we hit the staff, go over to whatever high level NPC we have access to and try to get a higher weapon drop. And incoming casket. It took a long time to get this on the shore because obviously our teleports are not good. Let's see what we got, and that is unfortunately not an upgrade, and I don't think I'll be keeping anything from this clue. That's unfortunate. Now let's see if our beginner luck is a little bit better, and we are hitting, ooh, see, now that would have been good if I had any way to change range besides the training bow. Obviously I want to stack my runes, so I can't keep this. I'll be selling it, but I do have a plan for range in the future. I'm probably going to get the Phoenix crossbow and use that so I can wield these oak bows that I get from clues. These hand members are providing lots of easy caskets, but that is not a good clue yet again. That's really sad to see, and I don't think I really want to stock fire runes, so I'm selling everything. Took some time out of my day to do goblin diplomacy, and I think I got a different weapon. It's not an upgrade, but I did get the black cane. I don't think I recorded it, but I've been using it so far, and it's pretty cool I guess. We're still searching for that Eye of Newt, and it hasn't been too hard, but I've been doing like four zombies a trip. So I wanted to take a break from that grind and went ahead and did this quest. And here I thought it didn't exist. This is actually a 1 in 64, not a 128, but despite that, it still took us 114 kills to get this Eye of Newt. And we actually need 2, so I'm gonna have to be back at zombies shortly again. And there's the black cane I was talking about in the previous clip, but yeah, 122 zombies, not even 114, 122. Yeah, we need another still, and we need that one for Witch's Potion because we want to get all the quest points that we can because we're going to need them in the future, and that is in our chunks. So I'm probably going to have to head back into there, but in the meantime, we have what we need to complete the first part of RFD. Knocked out a few crafting levels here just because I want to be able to make a gold necklace in the future, because we do have that clue step that requires a gold ring and a gold necklace, so I just wanted to make sure I had that down packed. And there goes part 1 of RFD in the bag. Love to see it. Finishing this session up with a fat beginner casket, and that is a steel plate body. That's actually massive. Steel plate body is actually not a small upgrade. It's actually massive over whatever it is that is in our inventory right now. I'm very happy to have this. Well guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much if you made it this far. These are the stats that we end the episode with. 36 is a bit higher than we ended the episode with, to be honest, but I got a couple of levels off combat. We also got 13 Slayer. 13 Slayer came from an Ice Fiend task that we got from our Sour Hog Slayer Master. I actually don't think I don't think I recorded that either, honestly. Or maybe it's in episode 2. It's probably in episode 2. But yeah, we're doing good. Just pretend that Slayer's level 1. A little bit of a spoiler, but not really a bit of a spoiler because I mentioned it in the exceptions. I hope you guys had a good day, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Goodbye.